Hey there, and welcome to the Daily Manchester United News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Roy Keane says Eric Tanha should strip Bruno Fernandes of captaincy after derby defeat. Manchester United legend Roy Keane has said that manager Eric Tanha should strip Bruno Fernandes of the captaincy following the 3-0 Premier League derby defeat to Manchester City. Speaking after the game, Keane was not impressed with Fernandes' reaction. The 52-year-old said that Fernandes is a brilliant footballer, but he keeps on moaning and throwing his arms up when things go against United. He told Sky Sports, "Today, having watched him again, I would take the captaincy of him 100%. I know it's a big decision. Obviously, they changed the captaincy with Maguire, but Fernandes is not captain material. He is a talented player, no doubt about it. But what I saw, we have discussed many times before. It was last season at Liverpool, his weighing, his moaning, and throwing his arms up in the air constantly." Keane added that is not acceptable and believes the manager should strip him of the captaincy, as the Portuguese is the opposite of what he would want in a captain. He said, "It really isn't acceptable. From what we saw, I'm thinking I would take that of him. You have to start somewhere. We were talking about where do you start fixing the problems, the manager, board level. I would start with that because the manager is capable of doing that. Fernandes is a brilliant footballer, but in terms of captain material, he is the opposite to what I would want in a captain." Fernandes has been United's most creative player since his arrival from Sporting in 2020. He has registered 66 goals and 57 assists from 198 appearances, which is an incredible achievement. The midfielder has earned the captain's armband on the back of his performances. Yesterday was not his day in the final third, but he worked hard for the team. Fernandes won 5 duels and 3 tackles. The Portuguese tried his best to get United back into the game. In our opinion, Keane's frustration over the defeat was angled towards Fernandes. The midfielder obviously likes to voice his opinion to referees, which is definitely a good thing. Fernandes is one of the most vocal captains in the Premier League. We would prefer to have him as a leader over someone who stays calm over the course of 90 minutes. Eric Tanha gives bizarre reason for dropping Rafael Varan versus Man City. Manchester United manager Eric Tanke has given a bizarre reason behind starting Jonny Evans ahead of Rafael Varan in central defense against Manchester City on Sunday. The Red Devils suffered a disappointing 3-0 Premier League loss to their arch-rivals at Old Trafford, and speaking after the game, Tanke revealed why Varan was left on the bench. The Dutch tactician said that he was wary of the high press from the citizens and he did not want to play Harry Maguire from the left-hand side of the central defense. Ten Hag emphasized that Maguire is better on the right, especially against high-pressing teams, and the plan was to step in to negate the threat from Julian Alvarez. He told ManUnited.com, "When you face City, they will go up to press and then to play with Rafa and Maguire over the left. That can give problems, and then you end up only kicking long balls. He is, for me, better on the right, Harry, especially against teams pressing high. And second is you have to step in over that side, and that was our tactic, to step in over Alvarez and get Sofiane Mrabit higher to get the press on there, build up, and that's why." Varane and Maguire tend to favor the right centre-back position, but the manager obviously had the preference to start the latter from the role against City. With Maguire's good form, it was the right choice, but we would have still preferred him to be partnered by Varane instead of Evans, who is no longer in his prime. Maguire had a difficult outing in the derby, and he was not helped by Evans, who is more disappointing. The Northern Irishman failed to win any of his ground and aerial duels. He lost possession on 9 occasions and failed to register a single successful tackle. Evans can't be blamed as he is in the twilight of his career. Tanha should have gone with the experience of Varan, who is far better defender on any day over Evans. Tanha seemed too focused on tactics and messed up the combination in our review. Sergio Reguilon should have also started at left back ahead of Victor Lindelof. Andre Onana stands out for Man United in disappointing Manchester derby defeat. Manchester United goalkeeper Andre Onana was the standout performer for the club during their disappointing 3-0 Premier League defeat to Manchester City on Sunday. The Cameroon international was the subject of criticism from some fans and pundits earlier this month following multiple goalkeeping errors across all competitions. He has redeemed himself since the restart. Onana helped United secure 3 points in the Champions League in midweek after saving a vital penalty in stoppage time. Against City, he was helpless for the goals conceded, but still managed to stand out for the Red Devils with 7 saves. 3 of those were to deny Erling Haaland. Aside from his shot stopping, Onana had 55 touches with 32 successful passes and 7 long balls. His performance helped United avoid further embarrassment at Old Trafford. The 27-year-old has had a mixed start to his United career, but he has definitely looked more assured over the past few games. Hopefully, he continues his good run of form. Meanwhile, United have dropped 8 points behind the top 4 after the derby defeat, while they are currently 11 points adrift of Tottenham Hotspur, who are the league leaders. United will be away to Fulham in their next league game on Saturday, but prior to that, they will continue their defense of the Carabao Cup against Newcastle United in the 4th round on Wednesday. The Red Devils beat the Magpies in the final of the competition last season. Eddie Howe's side will seek to avenge the result, and United have to step up with a much improved display. Erik Tanke claims his side are on the up despite derby loss. Erik Tanke believes that his side is going in the right direction despite their home defeat to Manchester City. Currently sitting 8th in the league table, the Red Devils have had a torrid start to the season and have now lost 5 games. Although they were not expected to get a result against the treble winners, the manner in which they lost was telling. After conceding in the first half, Manchester United failed to create any real opportunity after the break, with their City rivals dominating the ball. Speaking after the game, Tanha claimed that his side performed very well. He said, "When you see the first half, it's toe-to-toe, and just the penalty changes the game, but even then, we could have returned in the game with the shot of Scott McTominay just before half-time. For chances, it was very toe-to-toe, and also in the previous games against them in the FA Cup final and January, it was very close, so the probability that we could win was there in all the games. The start was difficult, but we are on the way up. I'm sure when we have some injured players coming back, then our side will be stronger. We have to be patient." Manchester United are using a new signing Rasmus Højlund in the wrong role. Manchester United are asking too much of a new boy Rasmus Højlund and do not have a credible alternative. After a long wait, Manchester United finally signed a striker this summer, spending an initial £64 million on Rasmus Højlund. While this was a substantial spend, Højlund is a development prospect who had just 1 year's experience in a top European league, and he is being thrust into a big role before he is truly ready. While he has an impressive 3 goals in 3 Champions League games, Højlund has no goals in his opening 7 Premier League matches. Manchester United are utilizing Rasmus Højlund as an every-week starter, and he is just not ready for this role yet. Højlund, only 20, should have been signed as the alternative option to a more experienced centre forward. The Times even reported this was United's original intention to sign Harry Kane with Rasmus Højlund as his backup. This wasn't possible because of the finances involved, but just because Kane wasn't available shouldn't have meant United just settled for Højlund and abandoned signing a second striker. Porto's Mehdi Tarim's name was floated about as an option, the Mirror reported, but this came to nothing. It didn't seem like United were serious about adding another striker, not after blowing £55 million on Mason Mount, who can't get a start right now. Contrastingly, United are depending on Højlund to start every single game because the one other striker who is here is Anthony Martial, who is neither reliable enough or good enough to start on a regular basis. Striker has been an issue for Manchester United ever since Romelu Lukaku was sold in 2019 and was not replaced. United have turned to stop gaps varying widely in quality, including Igalo, Cavani, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Weghorst. Rasmus Højlund is the club's first proper attempt to solve the striker issue long term and should be commended, but he is also paying for the club's previous recruitment errors. It means that now Højlund is here, his development risk being hurt because there is no viable option to rotate him with. It's crazy. He should be sharing minutes with a Premier League proven forward, able to spread the minutes and influence games as a super sub. Instead, he's being thrown in at the deep end and told to swim, at risk of his confidence being dented and his fitness being flogged. A striker needs to be a priority in the January transfer window to help Højlund out, and preferably not another desperate loan deal. Mason Greenwood completes 90 minutes for Getafe in goalless draw with Real Mallorca. Manchester United forward Mason Greenwood completed 90 minutes for Getafe in their goalless draw with Real Mallorca yesterday. It was a war of attrition, and with neither of the two sides picking up a win in their last 4 fixtures between them, it was never going to be a classic. Mallorca had the better of the proceedings overall, but couldn't find a breakthrough in front of home support, and the match ended in stalemate. Greenwood was Getafe's biggest threat on the day, and if the away side were going to snatch the 3 points, it was going to come from the United loanee. The 22-year-old flashed a left-footed strike wide of the goalkeeper on the half-hour mark, with Getafe's only shot in anger of the first period. Mallorca controlled the majority of the second half, but a jinking run and shot from Greenwood with 90 minutes remaining offered a reminder of the young man's ability. Greenwood glided past to Mallorca defenders before seeing his shot from the edge of the box blocked, and Getafe remained without a win in 5. The United man has performed well since his loan move to Spain, impressing his new coaches. The People's Person reported recently that Greenwood is open to extending his stay on the continent beyond his current 12-month deal. Having not featured for United since early 2022, Greenwood's widely publicized off-field issues look to have cost him his future at Old Trafford. Despite the charges brought against him being dropped, United's internal investigation deemed that the player should continue his development away from the club. There has been no official communication on Greenwood's long-term future, but it would be a major surprise to see him play for his boyhood club again. The forward will be hoping to impress in Spain in order to catch the eye of potential suitors who could offer him a long-term deal to take him to the next step in restarting his footballing career. Fabrizio Romano names the most important thing that has to change after Man United defeat to City. Fabrizio Romano has responded to the Manchester Derby defeat with his analysis on what needs to change for Manchester United and struggling manager Eric Tanke. Writing exclusively for the Daily Briefing, Romano explained that he feels Man United need to resolve the ownership issues behind the scenes and stressed that he still feels Tanha needs more time at Old Trafford. The Dutch tactician will be in the spotlight after a poor start to the season, with results and performances looking a long way from what fans will have been expecting, even if many will have been under no illusion that this was always going to be a long-term project that would require time and patience. There are legitimate concerns about how Tanha has the Red Devils playing, though, but Romano insists there is no change at the club right now in terms of the security of the manager's position. He said, "We shouldn't forget the positive impact Eric Tanha made last season. They did well in the Premier League and won the Carabao Cup, so that's a good start to build on. For now, I am not aware of any change to Ten Hag's position at Old Trafford, and in my personal opinion, the most important thing is that they need to clarify things around the ownership minority stake as soon as possible." As we wrap up today's Manchester United news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.